Now, let us see, I have 3 applications. Let us say I have 3 applications. One is SFDC application, other one is some LinkedIn. Now I have got this. Now if you want to log into this application, how do you log in? Open the login.salesforce.com, enter the username, password, login. If you want to log into the LinkedIn, how do you log in? Go to the linkedin.com, open the username, password, login. Facebook. Otherwise, I have 3 bank accounts. You are using a Paytm or other things. Okay. Generally, if you want to make any online transaction, what you are supposed to do? Log into the corresponding ICICI bank user. Okay. Username, password, login. Then you have to make a transaction. HDFC, login, make a transaction. Like that, we have to log in. Instead of that, what we are doing? Connecting all these bank accounts to the Paytm. You are logging into Paytm, choosing the bank, making a transaction. Now, are you entering? The moment I enter the Paytm, automatically all the banks are logged in. No need of logging into ICICI separately, HDFC separately, or other things separately. The moment you log in, automatically you are logged into all the 3 applications. Right. Now, what is that? Now, I got 1 application, 2nd application, 3rd application. Now, what we are doing? We got application, which is a single sign-on application. So, what we do? We will register the single sign-on. We will register all the applications with a single sign-on. Now, I will not log into this application separately. What I will do? I will only log into this application. I will log into this application and I will click on whatever the application I want, click on the icon, automatically it will take you to that particular application. Are you getting? Simple example of your single sign-on is your Google. Now, you open a Google Gmail, open a Google Drive, click on the Google Drive link, automatically it is taking you to Google Drive. Generally, if you want to log into Google Drive, you have to enter your username, password of Google Drive. Google Drive is separate app, Gmail is separate app, YouTube is separate app, Google Maps is separate app, Google Docs is separate app. All these are separate applications. They are not a single application. They are different products of Google. Your Gmail, your Google Search, your Google Maps, YouTube, Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Excel. All these are what? A separate applications of Google. But when I log into Gmail, when I open the YouTube, automatically I am getting the YouTube as my email ID, right? Now I am not separately logging into the YouTube. Automatically my name is coming. How? So if you log into any one Google product, Gmail, if you log into Gmail, automatically you log into all the Google products. If you log into Google, Gmail, if you log into Google, automatically I will log into all the Google products. Simply click on the icon, it is taking. It is not asking you for any extra authentication. It is not asking you for any extra authentication. Are you getting my point? This is the concept of single sign-on. Now all these applications are registered with your single sign-on. You log into single sign-on application, click on that single sign-on, log in, then whatever the icons you are getting, click on the icon, automatically it will take you to the corresponding application. Okay. Now I will demonstrate an example. Now in my account already we have done this, so I will try to show with so people can try with this. The open link that Salesforce has provided, we can try with this open link. And I'll be sharing one document for the LinkedIn also. You can try with the LinkedIn. Okay, I'll be sharing a document. You can try from your end. Now, first, if you want to go with a single sign-on, the first thing that we need to do is register a domain. Set up, administer, domain management, my domain. Instead of using login.salesforce.com, I want to create my own domain. So what was that? I gave admin 316. So admin 316 dev edition my.salesforce.com. Okay, if you go for a commercial, your environment, which edition is this? .mysalesforce.com. Your domain name, edition my.salesforce.com. This is the path. Check the availability. the URL is available, register. So if you want to go for a single sign-on, first thing that we need to do is register a domain. First thing that we need to do is register a domain. So the domain should be activated. It takes time for the activation of domain. So what is the navigation that we have seen? Setup, administer, domain management.
Hello.
Yes, meet your mic, Sai.
Huh?
Right. So the domain takes some time. Let us. Now every organization will not follow the same procedure. So as for the documentation, we have to go for it. It is not that every company has the same similar format of settings. It is not. So whoever is a single sign provider, they will provide documentation. Strictly, we are supposed to obey the documentation and apply it to the Salesforce. So it is more of a document work. Just look at the documentation what they have provided. Understand, okay, as per the settings what they told you to set, the same settings they have to enable here. It is not every organization will have the same. So we need to go through the settings what they have provided the third party. Whoever is the service provider, they will provide you some settings that we need to implement it. So meanwhile, you can look at this. These are settings what they are asking you to set up. These are the settings what they are asking you to put up for this URL. This is a URL what they have provided for this URL. Is for the service provider of single sign-on. They gave some settings as per their documentation. I have to set it in the Salesforce and access it. The domain should be active first. Okay. So once a domain is active, we get it like this. You are finding here admin 317 dev edition. Previously you find ap4.salesforce.com, ap8.salesforce.com, but the domain is enabled, you get like this. Now before the domain is enabled, what is the URL here? ap4.salesforce.com. But once the domain is enabled, you are getting here admin 317 dev edition, admin 317 dev edition my.salesforce.com. Right, boss? Let me wait for the domain to be enabled. We have no option other than waiting. Let the domain be enabled. So meanwhile, so the domain is ready. Then click on login. When you click on login, you show on this particular site. Now, domain is enabled. Then what we have here? Deploy to. Click on login, then say deploy to users. When you say deploy to users, the users can log in with this URL. Admin316 devedition dot mysalesforce.com. With this URL, they can log in. If you want to avoid people from logging into with the login.salesforce.com, I don't want anybody to log in with the login.salesforce.com. I want to log in with this. Right now, you can log in with this or login.salesforce.com. If you want to stop the people from logging with login.salesforce.com, then go to domain settings, click on edit. What is the option here? Prevent login from login.salesforce.com. If I enable this, the people cannot log in with login.salesforce.com. Now the domain name is enabled. Once the domain is enabled, what we are supposed to do? Then go to single sign-on. Go to administer, security controllers, single sign-on. Now go here, enable the single settings, enable the single sign-on settings. Once the domain name is enabled, go to the single sign-on settings, enable it, then click on new. Once you click on new, we are supposed to provide this data. Now you can give axiom issuer. Now what we are supposed to do, once you are done with this, now we are going to use the format here. Domain name is created. I'll go from here. Single sign-on settings. Now look at the format. Everyone, then go to the link what they have provided, Salesforce has provided. They created one Edureka app. They created one Edureka app for testing your single sign-on concept. Now what was this? Identity provider and tester. You click on this, then what they have given, download the identity provider certificate. Now we are going to identify each other based on the certificate. So just click on this download, certificate is downloaded. You can see the certificate downloaded. Okay. Now once the certificate is downloaded, what we are supposed to do? Give the name, change the version to 2.0. Here when you take this version axiom, whatever the file is there, choose the file. Right now I downloaded it, choose the file. Choose the certificate what they do. They have given a certificate, I am uploading the certificate. Then issuer, who is the issuer? Who is the person who is providing the single sign-on for you? Now go to the documentation. They are given a URL for you. Who is the issuer? Issuer is this is the application which is providing. Who is our application? Who is providing? Axiom SSO.Edureka app. So take it. He is the person who is providing the service for us. So we are registering with the SSO Axiom. The Axiom people are allowing you to log into the Salesforce. Okay. Then what we have done? Go to this, give the issuer ID. Now this changes from service vendor to service vendor. Whoever is providing, if it is a LinkedIn, linkedin.com, then okay. Choose the certificate. Then here we have certificate. The moment I uploaded, we are getting here self-signed certificate. Generally, when you open this, you will be finding like this. Self-signed certificate, only one option. But here we have RSA SHA 256 or RSA SHA 1, two options. For this, they have given RSA SHA 1. This vendor told, boss, I am using a RSA SHA 1. So as per the documentation, I was supposed to choose RSA SHA 1. Okay. Then, okay, saml identity type. Identity type is based on federation ID. Federation ID means you are going to give an ID. You are going to give an ID here. For my username, password, I am going to give an ID. The same ID I am going to register with a single sign-on company. When I give the same ID with a single sign-on company, based on this ID, they recognize who is logging in. Based on this ID. Because when you log in there, how should it take you to Salesforce Satish account? So in the federation I told ABC@XYZ. Here the Salesforce also I told federation ID is ABC@XYZ. They come, when you click on it, they come to Salesforce, see whose federation ID is ABC@XYZ, log in like this. So this is going to play a major role. So we have different formats, but here we are going to use federation ID. Then identity location, name identifier. So this, which one I have to choose? Out of these three options, which one I have to choose? That depends upon the documentation. You have nothing to do with this. Whoever is a service provider, according to the service provider, whatever they are asking you to choose the option, you have to choose it. Right. Then entity ID. Your entity ID is nothing but domain name what you registered. You already registered your domain name, right? So copy this domain name, give it as entity ID. Copy your domain name, give it as entity ID. So once I do this and save it, you're going to get URL. What is the URL? Login URL. Login URL. This is the major one I am going to get it. So let me show you this. Go to the single sign-on, download the certificate. What we have here? Generate saml response. Now we are registered a single sign-on setting in the Salesforce. Who is the issuer? Who is the entity? What is the certificate? What is the session type? What is the federation ID? What is the relay type? These settings, what they mentioned, I have given. Then I want to connect both of them. So the Salesforce we have created a settings. At the same time, in the single sign-on provider also we have to register something. So I am going to the single sign provider. Here I am registering the things here. Username or federation ID. I told abc@xyz. Then I have issuer, recipient URL. When I say recipient URL, just now we registered here. What was that? Login. The moment I register here, I am getting a login URL. Copy this login URL. Entity ID. What is the entity ID? Whatever the entity ID we registered there in the single sign-on, same thing I have to give it. So purely a settings based. Now purely setting based. Now issuer active, recipient URL, whatever I got is a login URL, then entity ID. Entity ID. Right. Anything else I have to give it? Go to documentation. Anything else? We don't require anything else. Then click on request saml response. Then we have login. Some language translations was it. Look at this form. The moment I click on this, it is taking you to what? It's taking you to what? Salesforce. But it has to take you to the user login. It has to take you to what? User login. It has to take you to the user login. So once again, I'll go with this. Once again, I'll go with this. Let us see. You click on this login. It has to take you to the corresponding. Then I told request saml response. Once you got the response, login. SAML assertion verification single sign-on. Check login. Let me cross check why it was failed. Some translation is happening there. Login history. Now whether attempt was success or not. No attempt was successful here. Student notes. Go to the student. What is the federation ID I have given? Go to the user with whom you want to log in. They are given as what? ABC at the rate of XYZ. Same one I am trying to create here. Okay, once again let me go from the beginning. Setup, administer, security controllers. Then we have here single sign-on settings. Let me delete, recreate, new. Okay, issuer, axiom. Then we had okay. Now go to the axiom, download identity provider certificate. Then go back to this, choose the certificate. Then RSA SHA SSN not encrypted. SSN not encrypted. Let me go back and see what is the issue with this SSN not encrypted. SSN not encrypted, no issue. Then go back to the one assertion federation ID from the user. Okay. Identify the name of the subject and statement. Yes. HTTP redirect. Then entity ID. Entity ID. Entity ID is nothing but the domain name what you are taking. Right. Save it. Once I save it, I got a login URL here. I got a login URL. Go back. Saml response. Version. Federation ID. I gave ABC at the rate of XYZ. Issuer. Axiom. Recipient. My recipient is, take this URL. Login URL is my recipient. Then entity ID, whatever the entity ID I gave here, the same entity ID I am giving. Then request ML response. Then click on login. When I click on login, it is taking you to what? Salesforce page. It is taking you to what? Salesforce page. So from my axiom page, when I click on login, it is coming to the Salesforce page. So what we have done, there are two organizations. One is the Salesforce, another one is the Axiom. Salesforce application, Axiom application. First, go to Axiom, generate the certificate. Then go to single sign-on, enable the single sign-on, create a new single sign-on, enter the identity number. Okay, enter the identity provider data. I'll recreate one more time for understanding purpose. Look at this. I'm recreating it one more time. Let us see. Step by step, I'll re-explain. Now, this is not only a procedure boss. This is with respect to this application to which I'm logging. We cannot guarantee that everybody will have the same procedure. So, you can go to Okta. Okta is one of the single sign-on provider. We'll see, go to Okta and find how the settings are there. So, what is the format? Setup, administer, security controllers, We have single sign-on settings. What did I do? Edit, enable the single sign-on, then new, new. First go to service provider, then go to IND provider test, download IND provider certificate, then go to Salesforce. Who is the issuer? I can give somebody. Version 2.0 issuer. Who is my issuer? Who is the person who is giving? Axim Heroku app. The application which is providing me the single sign-on service. Application which is providing me single sign-on service. Enter that application as issuer. Choose the certificate. Then they told request signature method is SHA-1. As per their requirement is a SHA-1. Then on what basis we are going with Federation ID? Then what type of request binding is this? It should be redirected. Now they asked entity. What is the entity? Whichever the organization, what is the domain name you have got for your organization Salesforce? Provide that domain name as entity ID. So issuer ID, entity ID, issuer ID, entity, certificate. These are the three. 1, 2, 3. These settings they will mention it. Only the differences that you find is issuer, entity, and certificate. Rest of the things they will provide the documentation. What you have to choose: issuer, entity, and your certificate. Rest all the settings they will mention. Whether you have to choose HTTP post or redirect, whether you have to choose federation or user, they will specify it in the documentation. Now do it. When you do it, you are getting what? Input. Then it's registered. That's the end of the game. That's what we have done in the Salesforce. Salesforce is closed. Then go to the person who is providing you service. Go to the person who is providing you service. Go to their app. Now provide the data. On what basis? I told federation basis. So I have given federation ID. Where will you give federation ID? Go to user. You go with what you are finding here. Whatever the federation ID I have given, based on this ID, we are going to recognize login as this particular user. Then issuer. Who is the issuer? Who is the recipient? When you register a single sign-on, we got a login URL. Give that login URL here. Entity. What is the entity ID? Whatever the entity we have registered here, that entity should be given here. Then get the response. Click on login. I hope you are getting with this. Okay. The similar one we have Okta. It is a commercial tool. It's not a free tool. Okay. We'll see their settings. What they are expecting. Only settings we'll understand. This is one of the single sign-on. This is one of the single sign-on settings here. Okay. Now what we are doing? Single sign-on. Okta to Salesforce. Single sign-on edit. 7 enabled. Then we are going with new. That's what we have done till now, right? Clicked on the new. Once you clicked on the new, they asked enter the name. Version 2.0. That's what we said. Issuer. Issuer. In the Okta, they are going to provide you issuer ID. Upload that issuer ID. Identity provider certificate. In the Okta, they are going to give you, okay, they are going to give you one certificate. Whatever the certificate they have given, you are supposed to upload it. Then INT provider login URL. Okay. Again, this is given from the Okta. Now what is that? Entity ID. ID of your Salesforce. Your domain name of your Salesforce. Entity ID is nothing but domain name of your Salesforce. Even in this system also I have done the same, right? So what are the things that you found different here? Okay, issuer, certificate, issuer, certificate, okay, and your entity ID. Okay, issuer, certificate, and your entity ID. Apart from this, rest of the things are same. Look at the point. Your name, version, issuer, they are going to give some code here. Whatever the issuer ID they have given, we have copy pasted it. Certificate, we have to choose it. Then they told they are using what format? RSA SHA 256. In the previous example, it is RSA SHA 1. Then they told assertion contain user Salesforce username. So you are going to log in with the Salesforce username. Okay. Then identity. They told the binding should be HTTP post. Now previous example what you have taken is HTTP. Okay, redirect. Now as per this organization, it is a HTTP post. Then identity provided login URL. This URL they are going to give in the Okta. Now this is what? This is purely based on Okta settings. Once you click on this, save it. Once you click on this, we save it. What we are getting here? Login URL. Now take this login URL, go to Okta. Go to Okta, what type of authentication we are using? saml 2.0. Okay, saml 2.0. Go to this. When you click on this login URL, whatever the login URL we got, give it. Domain, custom domain name. What is the domain name of the Salesforce is there? Entity ID. So instead of entity ID, they are calling as custom domain. Enter the domain name. Then credential details. Credential detail based on my email. Based on my email. So the email ID with which I am logging into Okta and the email ID of the user who is in the Salesforce, both should have same. The email ID of the Okta account, the email ID of the Salesforce in the user, if both of them are same, I will be able to log in. Now this is what? This is what? This is according to the Okta system. Now like this, there are many providers. Like this, there are many providers. Now you go to the documentation, see what they want you to enter, how they want to configure and set it up. The concept is, I will log into Okta. In the Okta, I will be having my LinkedIn account, Facebook account, Salesforce application 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I will click on it. Now I have multiple batches. Every time I forget a username, password of every batch because we keep changing. So what I will do, I will register all these applications with Okta. I'll give batch 317, batch 316, batch 318, 319. Now I will not log into application. I'll go to this Okta, login. I'll click on the batch number. When I click on the batch number, automatically takes me to that particular batch. It avoids me. Okay, it is avoiding instead of logging to every account separately. It is giving a single place for me. Now I can register all your accounts, all the batches I am taking. I can register with Okta. Simply I log into Okta, one username, password. No need of remembering all the username, passwords. Okay, I log into the Okta, click on the Okta application. Then automatically list of application what I registered will be visible to me. In that you click whatever the application you want, it will take you to that application directly without any extra authentication. Did you get my point? So this is the concept of single sign-on. Now it all depends upon what? System to which you are connecting. I have taken one example and I shown the documentation of other one. So it varies. System to system, application to application, provider to provider, things vary. But at the end of the game, three things are mandatory for you. Who is your entity? What is your entity? Who is your issuer? What is the certificate? Apart from this, rest all the things depends upon, say, okay, service provider to service provider. I hope you are good. So more of this is documented work. Go through the document, read, and read, apply. There is nothing, okay, logic involved in this one. Just go to the documentation. Whatever they are insisting you, apply this. I hope you are good with this, right? I hope you are good with this. Okay. Now you.
From the service provider, we are navigating to Salesforce.
Yeah.
Can't we do the reverse? From Salesforce, we are not navigating.
Now, in the Salesforce identity product concept, you have to apply. You have to have a separate license for it. Now, let us go to the next one. The next one is migrating the data from one Salesforce to another Salesforce account without any programming. The data in one Salesforce account, I want to migrate to another Salesforce account. So how do you transfer the data from one Salesforce to another Salesforce account? I have two Salesforce applications. ICICI Bank is using two applications. One for credit card, one for let us say loans. One for a credit card, one for loans. It is using two applications. Now what I want, they want to exchange the data between the organization without any third party. So what we are supposed to do, set up. We have Let us show with the Salesforce to Salesforce. It is straight away. It is straight away integration. It is a Salesforce to Salesforce. What we are going to do? Two orgs we have taken. Enable Salesforce to Salesforce. We are supposed to enable Salesforce to Salesforce. Go back to the documentation here. What I have given. Enable Salesforce to Salesforce. So what is the permission here we require? Salesforce to Salesforce setting, enable it. Once you enable, we are going to get a connection tab. Go to the search here. So we'll be finding here Salesforce to Salesforce somewhere. Salesforce to Salesforce. Edit. Enable. Similarly, go to this org. In this org also what we are doing? Setup. Then we can use the navigation otherwise. Setup, build, customize, Salesforce to Salesforce. What is the navigation? Setup, build, customize, Salesforce to Salesforce. In the both the organizations, I enabled Salesforce to Salesforce. In both the organizations, I enabled Salesforce to Salesforce. In both the organizations, I enabled Salesforce to Salesforce. Once I enabled the Salesforce to Salesforce, first 317 account, enabled it. First 317 account, enable the Salesforce to Salesforce. Then scroll down. Take any one application. Let us say I am taking the application which has less number of tabs, so that I can show you quickly. Then setup, build, create, apps. Then I have edit. The moment we enabled Salesforce to Salesforce, one new tab will be coming. So the tab is connections. Look at this. Where is the tab? There is a new tab. This tab will be coming to you only when you. This tab will be coming to you. This tab will be coming to you only when you. Only when you enable. Only when you enable. Only when you enable Salesforce to Salesforce. Right. Enable it. Then go to contact. Go to contact, new contact, then issue the mail ID, Salesforce badge. Let us say associate with any one of the contact. Now I created a contact. What all the steps I have done first? Tell me. Enabled Salesforce to Salesforce, then added the connection tab to the application, went to the contact, created a contact. What contact? With the contact of the other system which you want to communicate. Now contact of the other system with which you want to communicate. So with whomever you want to communicate, with their email ID, you have created a contact. Okay, we have created a contact. We have created a contact with the email details about the organization to which you want to connect. Then go to connection. New connection. Connection, new connection. Then choose the contact. Choose the contact. Who is the contact owner? Satish. Save and send invitation. So I am sending an invitation to them. I am sending an invitation to them. Okay. When you are sending an invitation, which data you want to share? You are sending an invitation. Which data you want to share? Whatever the data you want to share, that data, that object should be published. Publish, I told. Account data I want to share. Then what is a common? I'll take a standard objects. You can also transfer custom objects, but the object should be available here. So I'll prefer to go with a standard objects. Okay, no. I got account, customer, employee. Selected the three objects. The objects whose data you want to transfer. In the object, which fields you want to transfer? In the object, there will be so many fields. Which fields you want to transfer? First, choose the object, publish it. Then tell which fields you want to transfer. I want to transfer account type. I want to transfer account type, rating, industry, and select the fields. Customer. In the customer object, which fields you want to transfer? Last name. Employee object. Select the objects or the fields which you want to transfer. Now you got a connection. Accept, decline, decided. I told accept. You send a connection to me, I accepted. Now what are the objects you are pushing? Account, customer, employee. Now whatever you pushed, I need to subscribe it. Subscribe. Look at this. Account, customer, employee. Account object to account, customer to customer, employee to employee. You want to say auto accept or you want to accept manually? I told auto accept for the account, rest of the two are manual acceptance. Okay, now these are the objects. Now you need to map the fields. Whatever the fields they are sending, those fields you have to map it. Because it's account object, I told auto map. Every field will be available here. Then customer object, last name not available. Employee, phone number we have, here we have phone number. Map it. Which field data should be saved to which field. So we have mapped it. So they have created a connection, sent the invitation to you. You accepted the invitation. They publish the objects. You subscribe the objects. They publish the objects and told this is the data what I want to share. You subscribe the object and told this is the location where I want to fetch. They told these are the tables with the following fields. You told I want to fetch those data into this particular table. Now you may push any table, but where I want to save. You may push the data into any table, but where I want to save is the question. Okay. Now go back. This is organization. They want to share the data. Customer. So look at this. Satish, Kiran, selected some records. Then I told forward to which connection? This is a connection what I mean. So this data will be sent to the system. Now you need to wait. It's not event process. Once the records are received, you find here. Still the records are not received. Once they received, you'll be finding here. I think for account we give auto, right? Account we give auto. So I can search. They're not immediate. We have to wait for the files. Now we have transferred account or customer boss. What is the data I transferred? One quick minute. I transferred customer data. So go back to this object, customers. You got the data? This is the customer data. Now say accept or reject. Now object level access. You want to specify any object level access? Who is the owner? You specify. 3 records are created. From the third party, we send the records, they are coming in. Let me show one more time. I have employee, new employee. This is what I have created. Now I want to transfer the data. Select the records, forward to we have sent the other system employees from connection. Let us wait for some time. Let the file be received. Wait for the files. Once you get receive the files, click on accept. Now I will disconnect everything and recreate one more time. Let's go back. Connections. Deactivate the connection. Whatever the connections I created, I deactivated this connection. No more connections in this org. I'm going to create again. So how you do that? Setup, build, customize, Salesforce to Salesforce, then edit. This should be enabled. Once it is enabled, it's done. Now these are all email templates. The emails that will be sent when you establish a connection, the email that will be sent when you deactivate a connection, these are all email templates. Once you have done this, what will happen? Connection tab will be created. Add the connection tab to your application. Go to the application which you want. Go to the application. Add the so I'll ensure that both the tables have same data. Data is received, right? For an email. No, insufficient privilege because the connection was removed already. Okay. Now go to this connections tab. Find out where is your connection tab. Add the connection tab. Add the connection tab. Once you're done with the connection tab, then create a contact. Create a contacts. Give the email ID. Then we had Then you got the connection. Now go to the connections, new connection. Then you have choose the save and send invitation. Save and send invitation. The moment you send the invitation, then accept the invitation. They send the invitation, they created a connection, they invited the other organization to connect, the other people received email, they accepted. Then you tell which data you want to share. Publish object. Whichever the data you want to share, they will publish it. Whichever the data they want to share, they will publish it. When you told these are the data which you want to share, which fields in this object you want to share? Tell which fields. I want to say active, ownership, this is the data.
Object and fields should be present on the other side.
No, mapping data type is sufficient. Now whatever the data I am sending here, they may or may not have the same tables. So they will tell in which table they want, in which field they want to store. See, you are sending a data with the customer table. I am storing in the employee table. Obviously, there will be different field names. Now I have to map it. Which the data what you are sending, where I have to store, I have to map it.
Let's say if I want to store it in customer table only, then it will be created.
Again, I repeat my answer. When you are sending the data, where I want to store, it's my choice. Okay. If you want to create a new object and save it. You want to store in the existing table as per your requirement, save it. There is no global definition for it. Now I am sending the data, where you want to store, it is up to your choice. Now in which table you want to store, in which field you want to store, you decide it. Got it? Now we are sending these tables, account and employee. Publish it. The other side what they will do? The other side what they will do? They will subscribe. One is publishing, other is subscribe. At the time of subscribing, you tell where you want to store. Now they give an option here. So they give an option, which table you want to store. You choose, I want to store in a customer table, you choose in the customer. So it's your choice, because I am sending the data. This data has to be which part of which table is you, the other organization decision. I am sending the data. This data should be a part of which table, that you have to take a call. I doesn't know. My responsibility is to only share the data. Where you save it is your headache. Okay. Now auto accept, or auto means the moment you send, data is auto accepted. Now they are asking account. Now they ask active, where you want to store. You have multiple fields here. You decide where you want to store. Right? I told you it's auto. Okay, mapping, because I have the same field. If I don't have the same field, I will tell where it has to be stored. Employee. This is how we create it. Then what do these people do? They want to go for a mass sharing or a single sharing. If they want to go for a mass sharing, go to that tab or go select forward to. No, they don't want to share it mass. One record they want to share it. If they want to share it one record, go to edit layout, go to the page layout, buttons. In the data list we have external, go to the page layout, go for external sharing. This is if you want to share a particular record. Look at this. Forward this employee. To whom? If you want to share mass, list view, select forward to connection. Particular record you want to share, add the external sharing data list on the detail page, say forward to connection. Record will be sent. The other side, once they receive, they will accept or not, is their choice. Right? This is what? Migrating the data from one Salesforce account to another Salesforce, provided if both the organizations are associated. Right? So if you want to look at the high-end view, first enable Salesforce to Salesforce, add a connection tab to any application. I have taken site.com, create a contract with ICICI ICICI because I'm connecting with this ICICI. Okay, create the email. Then I create a connection app using a connection tab. Choose the contact as ICICI contact. Then invite. Publish the objects which you want to share. Select the fields which you want to share. The other side, enable the Salesforce to Salesforce. Add the connection tab to this one. Open the invitation link, what they received in the email. Accept the link. Okay. Then subscribe the objects which are published. Map the fields. Accept the records. Right, boss? So this is how data will be transferred from one Salesforce to another Salesforce arm. Yeah.
Can we share the complete application?
Now, Anita, mute your mic. It's only for sharing the data. Sharing the data, not for application. In application, there are programs, right? You share programs also. If you want to share by two applications, only one application is sufficient, no? Mutual data exchange. Okay. Right? Fine, boss. Okay. That's all from my